this is what I always thought Bronco would do. I didn't think Bronco was going to necessarily affect anything specific to Jeep negatively. I figured this was going to grow
Good, healthy competition.
Make Jeep push the envelope. And I mean, we've bitched about it endlessly on the podcast about how lame Jeep is as a manufacturer.
We've done multiple episodes about it.
This seems to be a change.
Welcome back to the Dirt Drive, sponsored by DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
We're here in Tom's basement again today.
Brought to you live from the DirtNerdsOffroad.com studio.
Brought to you live from future past. Yep. What's up? What are we doing? You got your fun idea for this episode.
So this is inspired by a segment on a weekly podcast that I very much enjoy listening to.
Called the Dirt Drive.
Future.
Am I supposed to listen to ourselves? No.
We really inspire ourselves.
I did listen to the Sean episode.
It's a very good episode.
I listened to all the episodes because I got to go back through and edit them. But
it's
I actually
literally your job to listen to all the episodes.
I took the time to actually to give myself a download and listen back through the episode with Sean because I had so much fun with it.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. Sean is such a great character and he's like a wealth of knowledge. Carrie's like calling bullshit on half of it, and I'm like, you know,
if it were anybody else,
I was gonna say if it were anybody else, I'd agree with you. But Sean is one of those people that
his brain is in the astral plane.
We're playing Dungeons and Dragons at the next camping trip.
Sure.
Mackenzie's like, "Are you guys actually gonna do that?" I'm like, "Yes."
Does Sean actually play?
Yeah, he's a dungeon master.
I guess he hasn't spent time with Sean like we have.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a dungeon master. He's got a cloak and everything.
Yeah,
he builds card packs out for camping trips.
You got.
So he's like
next time we go down, you got to come down to the house.
So you roll a dice, and whatever number you land on is what card pack you get, and you just play that card pack.
He knows how to play.
No, but that's
you?
not how you play because you have to build your character out over a campaign. He's got campaign packs already built out. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to do
This is why we need to start videoing the podcast,
so you can just watch Trevor stare at me.
Mm-hmm. I think people will understand our dynamic more if they can see the visual.
Say your words.
I'll go get my Dungeons and Dragons pack out of my office that I have with all the shit in it, my own dice, everything.
Let's do it.
We're really putting the dirt or the nerd in DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
Anyway, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard about it, we're doing Escape Overland Expo.
Yep.
If you listen to the podcast, you've heard about it a lot.
And if you go to DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
This one comes out right before Expo, I think. So
you're the one with the schedule.
I don't know, man. I'd have to look. I don't know where my phone is right now. This one comes out right before Expo, so sign up. Go to the Dirt Nerds Off-Road Forum. The logo on the page is the Dirt Nerds Pornhub logo.
Yep.
That's how you know you clicked on the right one.
Yep.
And you'll find our event, Escape Overland Expo, and then hopefully it's more than just 5 people in it like it is right now, but we're going.
There's nothing wrong with small
there's nothing
groups.
wrong with small groups. It's going to be a great time no matter what. We're going to play Dungeons and Dragons and cook food in the forest.
Yeah, it'd definitely be a good time.
I can't wait to see you guys play Dungeons and Dragons.
It's going to be so much fun. I don't know where the hell it's right here.
I've for years have wanted to do that because I think it would be.
I don't think I would get into.
Oh yes, you will.
No.
There is a character archetype that fits you fucking perfectly.
I would get into playing
Artificer.
it. I don't think I'd get into like the lifestyle where like
no.
I'd be going out and buying the books and like getting into it. Like
you're not buying a cloak.
No.
No, I'm definitely not buying a cloak.
No, but
I might wear a cloak while we're camping with a play. Like, when I do something, I do it 110%. And God damn it, am I not competitive?
Your cloak will be a blanket that you just put around you and run around a little bit.
Yeah. The beauty of Dungeons and Dragons is there is a character that fits everybody.
I mean, that's kind of the point, isn't
it? But I mean, I'm more.
Is it it's a fat hairy like Italian? Like
it can be if you want. But I mean like the actual like character archetypes that you can play as, like the character classes.
Is this about to become an episode about Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't know. We need Sean for that.
We need Sean for that.
Yeah, but there's one called an Artificer where their whole
Sounds made
thing,
up. An artificer sounds made
The
up.
whole thing's made up, too.
I know.
Yeah, but the whole thing is they can basically create whatever they want. They're the
Oh,
ones
hey, yeah,
making
that's
the
me.
machines
Yeah.
and the weapons.
In
and
the
all that.
wise words of Jesse James, I'm making chicken soup from chicken shit.
You're,
Yeah.
you're an artificer.
Wow.
That's a real word.
I'm putting that on my business card.
Tim is a troll.
Yes. Fuck you guys. I'm on the internet and I'm saying mean things. I gotta go out of my way to not be a troll on the internet sometimes. I'm like, I fucking hate you. Just like last week's episode where we talked about what a build is. I'm like, that's not.
Yeah. Well, now you can just post a link and we'll get a listen out of it.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
exactly.
Hey nerd, revise your words.
I'm gonna tangent off of our tangent back to our original destination.
Back to our original tangent.
But yeah, no. Shout out to the Brilliantly Dumb podcast and Bob Does Sports. Very entertaining if you're into golf. Check out their YouTube page, Bob Does Sports. They have a couple different podcasts. Brilliant Dumb is very entertaining. They do a segment every week. They call it their buy or sell segment. Basically, there's 3 of them. They go around, and for the week, something that is related to their life, they either buy it or sell it. Buy it, obviously they like it. They're saying this was a good experience, whatever it was. Or sell it. I had a bad experience. I don't want it. Like a good
Skyline
example.
chili.
Does it have to be an
Oh, yeah, I
object
was
or is
such
it a product or like an experience?
Anything.
Okay.
So like a couple weeks ago, they were doing a big travel, and the one guy, Joey Colcuts.
Hey,
they had
Joey
the-
Colcuts.
They had the best nicknames.
It's like your dad's
Perez.
friend's name. What was your dad's friend's name?
That's their actual name.
Those
I
are
know.
actual mafia names.
No, the Pachkalupis are not in the mafia. Paul is actually an avid listener. Shout out, Paul. What's going on?
Bachik Loopy. T-shirts.
The his week, he traveled and he was selling airline food because he had
He said, "Fuck this, I don't want
Yeah,
it."
he was like, he just had a shitty experience.
Yep.
He's like, the food was shit. Like, he was just like, I'm selling airline food. It would have killed them to like make me a good sandwich.
Yes.
And then like one guy bought a new TV and he was like, I am buying Samsung. Like, they were awesome, like all that kind of shit. So I thought it would be fun. Like, we could each do a buy or sell.
Do a round of buy and sell.
Yeah. Yeah, but maybe not like a whole weekly segment because we do tend to ramble and our episodes would be 4.5 hours long and we're not Joe Rogan. So
Yeah, I had to cut Sean off when I'm like, all right, we've been doing this for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I think we're done. I gotta go do breaks on your stuff and
Yeah.
it's fucking 11 o'clock at night.
So yeah, just because we all have pretty strong opinions of things.
So what's your buy and sell this week?
Oh, I didn't know I was going to start.
Oh, I don't know. It was your idea.
It was,
He
So
is
my-
selling intestinal problems.
yeah, I am definitely. I am selling whatever I ate on Thursday night. That is still working its way through me.
Are you selling your landlord?
Yeah, but we're not going to discuss that.
Okay.
So, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy Rockcrawler.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good tie into a whole segment that we're about to run. Not a segment, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's going to lead into a good conversation. I can tell already.
Yeah. So the Jeep specifically, the Jeep suspension market, I feel like is pretty cutthroat.
Yeah.
Everybody you talk to that has spent money on a quality lift kit swears by their lift kit, right? Like I don't know why, like, of all the things that you can put on your Jeep, people are just like 100% behind whatever manufacturer they chose.
Yeah,
I don't.
it's the cult mentality. Is I made this decision. It's the only decision.
Yeah.
It's the right decision.
I don't quite get why people who've only ever experienced one setup will talk about everything else being shit when they've only ever had one thing. It's like, I bought my first Jeep and I put on a TerraFlex lift kit. TerraFlex is the best lift kit. Everybody needs TerraFlex. And it's like, have you ever driven anything else? Have you taken it off road yet? Have you compared it? What TerraFlex lift kit do you
Yeah.
have? Like, there are so many different variables to it.
It's like getting the same dish at a restaurant when you've never tried anything.
Yeah.
You- that was
their
the best
pizza's
chicken
the
parm.
best. Yeah.
So if I don't get this, I know I'm going to be disappointed. It's like,
Yeah.
but you don't know.
You don't know.
that.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, when the restaurant's sitting there going, but the chicken parm's not our signature dish.
Yeah.
You need to try our shrimp scampi.
I was gonna say, if you can't pull an Italian dish out of your ass
I couldn't
right
pick
now,
which one. Spaghetti carbonara, a little bit of fra diavolo.
Oh, I had
What's the delicious?
I had eggs in purgatory this morning for breakfast.
Ooh.
What's the delicious bread that has the drizzle on it?
Ciabatta?
Not ciabatta.
Focaccia?
Focaccia.
Focaccia.
There you go.
Because
Your
you can
focaccia.
drizzle anything on any bread.
Yeah, but it like has all of it.
Tim will.
You got it. You got what I was going for. The focaccia. Have you been to the Italian store, the new Italian store yet in
Not yet.
Leesburg? Oh.
Yeah.
Do they,
So
do they have,
so I used
on
to
topic
go to
or off
them-
topic? Do they have fresh pasta at the new one? Like fresh made pasta?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
So they used to do a stand at the farmers market every
Yeah.
Saturday. That's how I found them. And then like a month ago, they were like, "Oh, hey, we're opening a store," and I was like, I looked up the address and I was like, I think I know where that is.
like-
and I drove by it. It's literally
It's
across
walking
from
distance
Anita's.
from your house.
It's a single family home next to the Chevy
Yeah.
dealership.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, so for everybody that just skipped ahead to back to the regular scheduled programming from our Italian food conversation.
I love it.
Nobody skips food.
we're back
I'm going to the
conversation.
Italian store on the way home from DC on Monday. I'm
Nice.
so
the Italian
excited.
store in Arlington is
Oh, it's so good.
Anyway,
Get a slice of pie and some fucking fresh olive oil.
back to.
Oh,
God damn it! Now I'm hungry.
you're always hungry. Rock crawler.
Yeah, back to buying Rockcrawler. They are not a small company by any means. For whatever reason, locally to us, Metal Cloak is king.
Yeah.
And we joke all the time, like, oh, gold-plated rough country, whatever. It's not that it's not good quality. It is such a cult following.
It's such a cool. Oh, it's gold under my everything.
Yeah, and it's like one hate to break to everybody who spent all the money on Metal Cloak, that gold-plated patent pending coating. They're never going to get the patent for it because it's on every grade 8 hardware that you could buy at Lowe's and every other hardware
that
store.
patent will continue to be pending.
Yeah, it will continue to be pending. It's all
Forever.
marketing ploy. 2, that coating rubs off the first time you go through a car wash.
Also a
And-
Scotch Brite.
Yeah. And 3, drive some other stuff out there, because as good as the Metal Cloak is, if you're looking for a factory style ride, there are better options, in my opinion. We have the luxury of, 1, installing a lot of different kits.
Yep.
2, the wow, my brain just shut off.
Installing a lot of kits. Gold plated rough country. Jog back through.
Wow, full reboot. Full reboot.
Power down.
We've been able to drive a lot of kits, and obviously it's always a personal preference situation. My opinion, based on the thousands of Jeeps we've driven, I think Rockcrawler is the best combination of close to factory ride and performance. A good example, well, with any manufacturer in any kit, you got to make sure the shock and spring
Just tuned together.
is tuned together. So like Trevor, we had Jeep in for an alignment. He test drove it. He came back. He's like, I think his sway bar links are disconnected. I'm like, that'd be weird. Like, why would they be disconnected? Peek underneath, they are connected. I'm looking at it. I'm like, and he's like, it drives like there's no sway bars in this thing. I'm looking at it, and I realize he's got Terraflex lift springs
Oof.
and Metal Cloak Rock Sport shocks.
Those are the
The
six.
red and black. No,
Yeah.
the red, just their standard
Okay.
red and black. The Metal Cloak shocks are known for being valved really soft because they set their springs up to handle more of the weight kind of thing. And I was like, that's the problem. The Terraflex shocks are softer, and like the Falcon shocks tend to be stiffer,
Yeah.
sportier. That's just how the Terraflex stuff is set up.
Yeah, I love the way mine rides. I've got the Terraflex stuff
I
on
think
there.
the 2 things Metal Cloak does really well are customer service, and they build a very complete kit. For me, Rockcrawler also builds an equally complete kit, if not a more complete kit, but they give you more options. Metal Cloak is Metal Cloak. You get gold control arms with their bushings and springs and shocks.
Yeah.
Rockcrawler, you can kind of choose based on what you're doing, how you want to set it up, adjustable. Some stuff's adjustable, some stuff's not.
Kit's specifically designed for what you plan to do with the vehicle.
Correct. Correct. And their spring setup is close enough to stock and mild enough that it rides like stock, but it gives you shock options. We found, like, when we built Tom Walk's Jeep, we did the rock crawler springs and control arms, but then we did a set of Falcon 3.1 shocks, and that thing rode beautifully down the highway. A little bit stiff, but that's how I personally like it. You know, I don't like the body roll, especially on
I can't stand the body roll.
But
it kind of rides a little bit like a tank, but that's okay.
But the Falcons,
it's a solid frame. Yeah, it's a body on frame truck.
Right. It's, you know, I've never been one to expect a Jeep to ride like a Cadillac. The beauty of those Falcon shocks are they're valved pretty variably. So when you're off road and you get that shock moving and everything warms up a little bit, all of a sudden that shock softens up really nicely. And like
eats
that Jeep just rolled through the cove like it was just walking over everything.
Well, that's before he doesn't have lockers, does he?
No, that was before the axles and the lockers.
Yeah, it's just the nice.
That was I mean, like, I remember
lockers aren't hooked up.
Running the access road, like we had the door off. I just hanging my foot out, just one finger on the wheel, just rolling over everything, smooth, not bouncing around. My head was solid.
It was wild.
It was perfect. And like the rock crawler stuff, I think has always been pretty underrated in the Jeep world. Like Terraflex, Metal Cloak.
I see rock crawlers very like specific to like hardcore off-roading. Yeah, and I think that's why it's got that name, is because it's such good product and it holds the price tag to go with it, so people steer away from it. They don't steer away from it, but it's not on the top of their mind when it comes to.
I agree. Yeah, and I think
building the stock Jeep.
Yeah,
I think similar to us, they embrace that high quality underdog kind of situation where they don't want to be Metal Cloak. They don't want to be Terraflex.
They're about to be.
They are what they are.
They're not getting.
They're very good at what they do. They make an amazing product.
Not that.
They're a great company to work with. We put like rock crawler on probably 90% of the Jeeps.
Yep. The rest are customer supplied.
So
yeah, pretty much.
So what I'm getting at is saying they're about to be the biggest name in the industry.
Yeah. So they just announced on their Facebook page a couple weeks ago that like they're basically developing suspension with Jeep specific.
They're teaming up with Stellantis to build Ultra 4 race cars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is wild.
Dope.
I mean, they've always had a presence in Ultra 4.
But finally, after we've been preaching for how long, Jeep is finally doing a factory race team.
Yep.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best thing they can do to help innovate and push the market, because I mean, Bronco's been doing it since 2020. They've had race cars.
Yeah. And I think
since the first Bronco came out, they've had race cars, and that's how they developed their product line.
That's how they drove their product line, was that moniker of
it's
a race car.
I think Ford did a great job with marketing side of
Absolutely.
it, because they recognized right away that
they make shit products.
Well, no, that they had an uphill battle against Jeep. They had to do something big. Yeah. Jeep has been very comfortably just sitting on top of that, just doing whatever the fuck they want.
I don't think they reached the Jeep killer status that they shot for by any means. But
I think what's awesome about this is the two things we're going to get out of this are you're going to get a premium suspension that's going to get even better.
Yep.
Because they're going to have access to the engineers.
Yep.
They're going to do actual testing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they build, they put on a race car and run it through the desert and beat the shit out of it for years before they actually sell it. Like, I mean, the Bronco's been out now for 2 years? They still have not released the coilovers. Yep. They tease it. They literally did.
Ford?
No, Rockcrawler.
Oh, Rockcrawler has.
Yeah, Rockcrawler has a full Bronco suspension kit.
They're still testing it.
They're still testing it.
Yeah.
So, and like, they tease it constantly, and we're always like, when is this going to be available? When is this going to be available? When is this going to be available?
The Icon stuff is not necessarily the best
garbage.
stuff on the market.
But that's the thing is, like you have a company like Icon that it's not that they didn't test it. They did beat the shit out of it, but they threw it on a rig, drove it around for a few months, and went, cool, sell it.
Yeah, they didn't test it for longevity.
Like, you know, like the Rockcrawler's got the Adventure Series control arms and the X Factor control arms.
Mm-hmm.
The Adventure Series stuff is very similar to like what the Metal Cloak setup is. That stuff was put on a 4600 car and run in 3 different King of Hammers before they changed out the old Adventure Series joints. So they R&D it. They're adjusting it. They're changing it. They're modifying it before it goes to market.
They're actually doing the innovation that we want, and hopefully,
and even
Jeep's following suit because they're choosing a company that does the innovation.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I think I think we're going to see some really cool shit come from Jeep directly out of this, because this is the first time Jeep. Well, I should say the first time. This is first time in recent years that Jeep is getting involved in aftermarket directly that they aren't doing themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Like the Mopar kit they're developing, they're buying a valve shock from Fox. You know, AEV is setting up their own stuff, but it's all stock plus type things, right?
AEV is also an upfitter. That's not Jeep. The
Right.
AEV Jeeps you see on Jeep lots are not built by Jeep. They're built by AEV and
right.
sold back to Jeep.
Right.
Or not sold back to Jeep, but they're contracted out to have them built and then sold on the lot.
Yeah.
As a new vehicle.
Yep. I think
It's not new. It is a new vehicle, but
I think there's a lot of really cool stuff happening. This is what I always thought Bronco would do. I didn't think Bronco was going to necessarily affect anything specific to Jeep negatively. I figured this was going to grow
good healthy competition, make Jeep push the envelope. And I mean, we've bitched about it endlessly on the podcast about how lame Jeep is as a manufacturer. We've done multiple episodes about it.
This seems to be a change, and it's like they said they're partnering with Jeep. They're building a stock class 2-door JL. So there's going to be a 2-door.
I'm surprised they went with the 2-door.
I'm not
because I feel like
the 2-doors are so short.
Yeah, but when you're limited to 35s,
fair.
I think
the wheelbase is better for 35.
Right. The wheelbase is better for 35s. You're not doing 140 in the desert, so like long travel is not as much of a concern. Like high speed stability isn't your concern. From a race competition standpoint, I feel like the nimble, short, narrow 2-door is going to bounce through the big rocks quickly and make up its time on the rocks when you're talking about a King of Hammers Ultra 4 type car. And then they're doing a long course desert racing Gladiator.
Ooh. Okay.
So think like Mint 400, Baja 1000. Like that's going to, like, Jeep's already kind of there with the Mojave, right? Like that concept of rear locker.
Yeah.
High speed.
Yeah. High speed. The hydraulic bump stops, all that kind of stuff that comes in the Mojave. Like like Jeep that's, to me, that's an untouched segment of the off-road racing world that's really, really unique. And I think like for them, that's going to be
because they have
that's going to be
a good
cool.
place.
The high speed boy is cool stuff, and that's also a game that Bronco's been in for Ford's been in for a very long time. Legitimately offered Baja racing.
But I think
this is a direct quote from their Facebook post. The long course desert racing will be for long course desert racing, we will be building a pretty nutty Gladiator with the sole purpose of bypass shock testing and winning championships.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I like
that's going to be a good market space for the Gladiator.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they have a concept drawing of what they're going to use for their chase truck.
Oh, that's sweet.
Nice.
Oh, it's got a bobbed bed and everything.
Yep.
You got to put that up.
Oh, I will.
Yeah. So
because for the longest time, people, even to this day, people still shit on the Gladiators, but I think that'll put a lot of people in their place.
Just look at the trailing arm setups. Like,
those are huge.
Yeah, they've got some really.
Is that the one you were talking about the other day? You were talking about something the other day, or maybe it was on the UTV.
Oh,
something
the
about the
Can-Am
crazy-
Maverick.
Yeah,
those are
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That shit's wild. We can do another episode on that.
I'm buying one of those.
There you go. We can segment right into your buy or sell then, Timothy.
The Can-Am Mavericks are
a lot of positive stuff happening here on the show today, boys.
Yeah. Buying a Can-Am Maverick. I mean, I know we don't live in the environment for a car like that, but they're sweet. You got the perfect geometry suspension points.
Yeah.
There's 270 horsepower, 7-speed transmissions. In a UTV, they're getting away from the belts, which is cool because belts are a huge thing. Race teams carry 2-3 belts on a car just in case you rip one during a race. Yeah, and you rip another one. They're easy to change. I had to change one out.
Yeah.
They're not hard to change, but you got to keep them in.
It's a weak point.
If you can have the
fact that they're
gear
going gearbox. I mean, I think what's wild is like these things are 1,000 cc, so they're like 300 horsepower, weigh like 1,200 pounds, if that. They're just it's
an absolute rippers.
It's absolutely insane. We were talking about at the shop the upper control arm design
that goes over
they figured out that if the ball joints were parallel or in line with each other,
it's stronger.
It's stronger, which I mean it makes sense. Obviously, there's other benefits involved with them being
the geometry,
and the angles and whatnot. But I mean, it's a wild machine. Did you see the video
of Travis Pastrana and Clear?
Oh my god!
Could you imagine being a fly on the wall in that car?
102, 102 miles an hour in a go-kart.
with Travis Pastrana and Clear.
Honestly,
frightening.
Honestly, they might be the only two people I'd be willing to get in a go-kart with to do 100 miles an hour.
Fair. Yeah, I agree with that actually.
Yeah, that's accurate.
I haven't done a lot of research on them, but yeah, I'm definitely buying one of those. What are you buying, selling? What am I selling?
You don't have to sell. You can pick one or the other. You don't have to.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know.
You look like you were gonna keep going there for a second.
I ran out. I ran out of juice.
We're in that I'm coming down off my coffee high.
Oh yeah.
My caffeine is crashing hard.
That's one thing I'm buying is Gearhead coffee. I got a bag of their coffee for the first time. That's good shit, and they're local, not local to us, but they're a Texas company.
Yeah.
I mean, just like almost all the coffee brands that are hardcore American, they're made in America, done by Americans. And that's something that I've been about. We've talked about it before, but when it comes to the hobby that we have is I'm buying American-based products.
Yep.
So you were talking about TerraFlex.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're made in America.
They are. They're still manufactured in Utah.
Okay.
Thank God.
But yeah, I was gonna say at least they're designed and that's what was my thought process. If they're not made in America, they're designed and tested in America.
Yeah.
So with the hobby, I make a point of trying to support American companies.
Sure.
Because if we're gonna have fun doing it, might as well. I spend the extra money and support.
I do think the Jeep world actually makes it pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think
make it really easy to just go on Amazon and buy whatever the hell you want to.
Yeah, but the difference there is you're made in your good quality parts because the market is so heavy here. It's not outsourced yet. The stuff you're buying from China is just garbage. Knockoff crap.
Yeah.
I think really,
powder coat chips and rust.
I think you're not getting suspension and things like that are made in China that are in the same conversation as made in the U.S. parts. The difference is like LOD is like we use them a lot for bumpers and armor and stuff and side steps. That's made in America. It's good quality parts. You're paying a premium for it. Yeah, I could go on Amazon and buy a very similar looking bumper for $300, but it's made in China. The powder coat shit. It's 1/8 inch steel versus 3/16 or 1/4 inch. Like there's vast differences, and that's yes, it's an apples to oranges comparison, but I think that's where you're seeing that that competition from overseas. So are you selling made in China Amazon parts?
Of course.
Good.
Always. I'm not selling. I wish I was selling. I probably would make a ton of money.
Yes. Yeah. We know what you mean. But yeah, no. Yeah. We're down on those.
Trevor, buy, sell. I'm also buying these mics. I fucking love these mics.
Yeah.
These mics really nice. The
I think Tim's missing the spirit of the buy or sell.
I don't know, man. I haven't figured it out yet. So I'll have to listen to a segment of that show.
It's a great show.
I think for right now, I don't have a specific thing. I think recently the concept that I'm buying is the companies that are starting to go more the way of fewer products, but way better quality.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the longest time, all this aftermarket support for Jeeps, trucks, whatever you're into, all these companies thought if we give people more options, then we're just going to collect more of the market. And it worked for a time until people started realizing, well, when you've got, like you look at wheel companies, right? Some of those wheel companies have 30 different wheels that they make, but then you get them and the quality control is trash. The product itself is trash. It breaks, it's bent, whatever. But now you've got these companies coming out and going, like LOD is a good example, right? They have one rear bumper.
Yep.
That's all they make is one rear bumper. And the only bumper we haven't had problems with is LOD bumper.
Yeah, they always install nicely.
They install nicely. The powder coat lasts. The
I
product,
am selling their packaging material though.
Yeah, LOD.
That shit is a nightmare.
You're killing me on that shit.
I'd actually prefer fucking packing peanuts at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, is it that expanding foam that gets stuck on everything?
Yeah. But they put so much of it in there. It's like sealed.
Like it takes an hour to unload the bumpers from the box.
Yeah, I have to include opening the parts in a flat rate time.
The great part is never had an issue with any of their stuff coming damaged.
Yeah, it's always in
it's
perfect condition shipped.
But a lot more of these manufacturers now are realizing if we limit the quantity, we can increase the quality. So you've got, like Rocktrix is a good example of that. They've got 10 types of wheels that they make. They look great. They're good quality. They stand up to stuff, but they're still relatively inexpensive. That's the benefit to the manufacturer is if we don't have to keep a massive inventory of stuff, I don't have to buy a massive warehouse and thus increase my overhead. So my wheel doesn't have to cost $400.
And if you want a set of Rocktrix wheels, use code DirtDrive. DirtDrive. It's not DirtDrive 5 anymore. I changed it. Use code DirtDrive to get 10% off or 5% off
your whole order.
Your whole order.
You really fucked that up.
I really fucked that up really good.
Yeah.
It's 5% Rocktrix.
Yeah.
Tim needs
Dirt
cue
Drive.
cards.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, so like I really like that concept that a lot of these manufacturers are starting to go back to of we're going to give you fewer options, but we can
More
promise
quality.
you that the options are going to be quality. So it kind of goes back to our previous episode of like it does take away a little bit of the uniqueness from some of these builds because there are fewer options. But I would much rather have a product I know is going to last me a long time.
A good sturdy product.
Yeah, because it's just, what am I paying this extra money for just because it looks good, but it's going to be trash in 2 years?
Yeah.
Like, that makes me mad. If a lift kit's going to cost me $3,500 just for the parts, that shit better last me 15 years.
Yeah.
If all I'm doing is driving up and down the highway.
Yep.
Obviously, if I'm beating it up in the woods, it's a different
Yeah,
ballgame.
abuse is always a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like that that's where some of these guys are at right now. And we're seeing more of them do it. I think some of them are not necessarily doing it for the right reason. They're just kind of getting with the times.
To piggyback on that, I think where some of it's coming from is these smaller boutique companies are seeing the opportunity to stay small.
Yep.
Because a sell that I'm going to throw out here is these corporate buyouts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Like we're seeing like the wholesale distributors, these big companies buying some of the bigger independent companies. They're not necessarily buying the small guys, thank God.
Yeah.
But they're buying these bigger name companies and they're keeping the name around and they're not trying to change the product as much as they are just changing the business.
Yeah.
But
because the company
that all trickles down. And it's made our jobs a little bit more difficult. And if it's making it more difficult for us who know the people, deal with these people all day, and have these, first name connections, it's, to me, that makes a problem for the general consumer. If you're going out and you're buying, I'll say it, a Terraflex lift kit off of Quadratech, you're not buying it from Terraflex anymore. You're buying it from Wheel Pros.
Yeah.
And when you have a problem with your Terraflex lift kit, when you call that Terraflex customer service number, you're getting somebody in a Wheel Pros office.
Yep.
Terraflex is still building the parts. They're still designing the parts. They're still, it's still their name on it, but it's coming from a Wheel Pros warehouse, shipped by a Wheel Pros employee, and you're dealing with Wheel Pros sales guys.
Yep.
And
dealing with the smaller companies is just so much easier. Like all of the the
Well,
show.
they just care more, right?
Yeah,
Like,
all of the show affiliates and sponsors
Yeah.
are all. We decided to go with small companies because they're
Yes.
so much easier to work with.
Yeah.
You call, you get the same person every
Well,
time.
yeah.
It's also it's the way a small company looks at it is one bad review, one upset customer can change the course of how your business
Yeah.
handles for that month, right?
Right.
For a large company, the way they look at it is
I'll sweep that one on the rug.
If
It'll be
we
fine.
if we sell
Yeah.
1,000 of these and we get 10 bad reviews,
Oh, well,
we're
we
just
still
gonna
sold
pay
990,
we're just gonna
yeah.
pay Google to put those bad reviews at the bottom of the list because no one's ever gonna scroll down that far.
I think the for me, what I'm seeing is when you need help, you're not getting the buy-in from your rep.
Yeah.
Right. Like you deal with a smaller company, that person cares about their job. They like their job.
they care about their product.
They care about the product. They want to help you figure it out. On the phone with Cognito the other day, installing a truck lift kit, smaller company out of California. Bless their hearts, they had no idea about snow plows.
It was actually quite.
It was actually
funny.
it was actually
after the fact. It
yeah,
was quite.
it was pretty entertaining because like I'm on the phone and I'm like, yeah, hey, like just wondering like if you guys have a drop bracket or know of a drop bracket to get a plow mount on a truck that has this lift kit. And
They're like, what?
The girl on the phone's like, no, it doesn't affect your tow capacity. And I was like,
No,
not
wrong end of the truck.
Yeah. Like, I'm not worried about towing. I'm like a snow plow.
She goes, "What's a snow?"
Well, she goes that like that's not part of the tow capacity. And I was like, no, it mounts to the front of the truck on the like the subframe, and like your lift kit's got the subframe drop. Yeah, it's got the subframe drop. Will the plow be able to mount back up to that subframe drop? Can you send me some pictures? And I was like, I'm like, oh, you guys are in Southern California, aren't you? And she's like, yeah. I was like, not a lot of snow, huh? No, I've never installed a snow plow before.
They just got some rain, but
Yeah, so
that's the biggest strategy.
Yeah.
Is Burning Man is that's the biggest
no
strategy.
shit. So I was like, I can definitely send you some pictures. And then like they emailed me back like 10 minutes later, and they were like, yeah, this doesn't affect the tow capacity at all. And they're like, if you're trying to get that bracket mounted, like you probably have to. Like they didn't answer the question; they answered it without answering it, and I was kind of like, all right, they just have no clue. And I didn't respond back. And like 3 days later, somebody else emailed me and was like, sorry for the confusion. You know, the plow mount will not work with this bracket. And I was like, yeah, I kind of gathered that already. But like the fact that they took it upon themselves to still follow up, like that's good service. I'm sure that conversation went around their warehouse and their office for 3 days. Like
Trying to figure out what to do with
We've
the snow
never
plow.
had somebody ask us about a snow plow.
Yep.
Nobody there's got a
'cause
snow plow. They're calling their buddy in Minnesota like, dude, do you think this would work? Does anything exist for this? And like that's completely lost when you call.
Yeah.
You always get the wildest customers that are like, hey, I want to build this truck, but also I still need to use this as a truck. I want to put a plow on
It was
it.
more. It
We
was
have a
already
repu-
on there.
Yeah, we took
Okay.
it off. We didn't
Yeah.
put it back on. It was my brain was, ooh, can I do something slick to make this work? And then I was like, not worth it.
Yeah.
But like the opposite end of this that we had in the last couple weeks, we call Skyjacker. You call it
Oh,
Skyjacker
yeah.
about the Rebel.
Yep.
And the guy goes, we don't make anything for Rebel. Hangs up the phone.
Wow.
Like
So
that's
I'm
it.
like-
It's
I'm
just like, hey, my customer ordered these arms. I'm just double checking to make sure they work with the Ram Rebel
Yeah.
platform. We don't make anything that works for the Rebel. Oh, like anything at all? Nope. Click.
So
Wow. He
I
was
don't-
having a bad day.
Oh, I was
Like,
like,
God
I'm like, that
damn.
doesn't make any sense. So do a contact form email, and they come back and say, yes, they will work for a Rebel.
Like I was just having a really bad day.
Right. But
Well,
that's
it's
what you get when you have
yeah.
bigger companies that they're just either outsourcing it, or the guy you're talking to, maybe he's a wheel expert. He's not a suspension expert because he's at fucking Wheel Pros headquarters and he's not at Terraflux headquarters.
And all
So
he's
he
doing
doesn't-
is looking at the
he-
part number,
yeah.
and in the description, it doesn't say anything about.
Yeah.
Will
He's
work
got
with
7
Rebel.
other calls parked that he has to get to. He doesn't care about figuring it out for you. The website doesn't say Rebel, so I'm telling you it doesn't fit on a Rebel. Have a nice day. Next.
Yep.
And that's the difference.
Yep.
And that's like I am selling this off-road corporate buyout bullshit. I know the market is booming. I know there's a ton of money to be made.
And it's going to keep happening because the market just keeps booming.
Right.
It keeps going.
right. but it's taking out the love of it. But thankfully, because the industry is awesome and there is so much money to be made, the smaller companies are stepping up and doing what they do best.
Yeah.
Rock Crawler, tying it all back in, is a perfect example. Still independently owned. Their owner is one of their race drivers.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Developing high performance off road race parts with a Jeep manufacturer, like that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw them at Reading, and I talked to one of the guys, but I should have just gone over there and tried to hang out for a little bit.
Yeah,
because that's how the pits are. You can just walk up
Yeah.
and hang out.
Yeah, it's they're, I think he's COO. I think he is now. Adam races his LJ 4600
Oh, yeah.
car.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was talking to him about building some stuff.
Building race cars.
Yeah, he's the one that invited me to that 4600 like builders group on Facebook.
Yeah.
A lot of good information in that group.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Now we just got to find that suitcase of money hidden in the wall somewhere.
Yeah, I'm buying money.
Speaking of that, speaking of
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
money,
Did I get it right?
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
Yeah, DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
money.
Check out our t-shirts.
Yeah, see-
buy our shit so we can do fun shit to post online so you can watch us do fun shit.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
can stop talking about it and actually
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
For our local listeners, I'm buying Ray's Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's if there's any real husbands guys in here, you already know.
Ray's Pizza is so good, it cured my stomach issue for about 4 hours.
Then the grease hit, and you're like, oh, no, never mind.
No, it's the only thing I've eaten for like 48 hours is Ray's Pizza.
Yeah.
I did skip the spicy sauce for safety purposes, though.
I did notice that because the spicy sauce at Ray's is clutch.
Oh, it's so good.
The
The spicy
angry
sauce
Italian
pizza.
or whatever they call it.
So good.
Yeah.
Tom also appreciates it because they call their cheese pizza the OG, which is the closest you're going to get to a plain.
Plain? Yeah, you just
Yeah.
got to order a plain pizza.
Well, but the
No,
problem is
okay.
around here.
Well, around here we're okay. There's enough transplants in the DC
Yeah.
area that a plain pizza exists.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've definitely explained this to you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like my whole, if they don't have a plain pizza, they're not a real pizza place.
Yep.
Because when I lived in Colorado, I ordered a plain pizza, and the girl at the pizza place was like, "You just
what?
want the bread?"
And you're like, jump off a cliff, please.
I was like, "No, with the sauce and the cheese."
Oh, so you want a cheese pizza?
And this was after they told me they didn't have slices, which also made me twitch.
Oh, dude, we went to a pizza place in DC a while ago, and like, oh, this is really
you
good
want
pizza
you want a
here.
10-inch?
And I'm like, hey,
no,
can-
I want 2 fucking slices.
Yeah, I was like, hey, can I get a slice of pepperoni? They go,
Yeah.
oh, we don't do pizza by the slice. And there was like fig pizza, and I'm like, this is fucking not a pizza place.
Yeah. Yeah, you're at that point you're Papa John's.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like
Yeah.
if you don't have a case with pizza at room temp that's getting thrown in the oven for 5 minutes and handed to me.
Yeah, don't call
at
yourself
least
a pizza place.
you're not
at
a
least at
pizzeria.
lunchtime.
No. If you are open.
I'm talking that's like bare minimum.
Yeah.
If you're only going to do slices during your busiest part of the day,
Yeah, do
fine,
slices.
But come on.
So, yeah.
Like who in their right mind in DC is walking in somewhere by themselves going,
Well, you just get a 10-inch, just a small one.
fuck that.
The
Ten,
the
10 inch
problem
with
is-
fig, no thank
I
you.
want
Yeah, no.
I want
I wanted the
two
goddamn
slices.
pizza.
I want
Not
to
some
put in the
craft
oven.
bullshit.
I want to be able to lube my fucking control arms with it before I eat it.
Lube
Swear
my
to God,
guts.
if I see you put a napkin on top of your pizza,
If you
I'm gonna
dab it, I need to
slap
dab
you.
my pizza.
If you want a good sandwich in DC, though,
No,
you go to
you just let it
Stokowski's.
drip. You don't
Yeah.
contaminate it with the napkin. You fold it. You make the little funnel. You let the
You,
surface
you
drip
suck it out of the
off.
funnel, you
Yeah,
drink the juice.
That's
That was a gross
That's
sound.
where
I
Italians get all their
apologize.
hair.
right. This is how you slick it back.
Ah.
The pizza grease.
Hey, Bob da Boopy. Oh.
Just because you have a mustache doesn't mean you
Are
can
we
speak
are we
Italian.
buying pizza for lunch?
We're always buying pizza.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Good Jewish deli, though, Stokowski's in DC.
Oh, I think I still have a couple frozen bagels my parents imported. when they came
Imported?
down.
Every time his parents come down
Oh,
from
yeah.
Jersey,
13
it's
bagels, baby.
It's the same comment every time. My mom imported some bagels from Jersey.
Smuggle in.
He's smuggling.
Oh yeah,
them
they're
in.
imported. Listen, like there is good pizza down here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like there's
Ray's is at the top of that list
Yeah.
of closest
Yeah,
to
Ray's
New
is really
York
good.
style.
Ray's,
The Italian store has good
Rasco's,
pizza.
Rasco's is
Italian
good.
store is
Yes.
phenomenal.
Yes.
Armetta's in Lake Ridge when I lived down in Woodbridge.
Okay.
And then I do enjoy the Rubino's pizza. They have days in Ashburn where they're
Yeah.
but overall they make a good pizza.
Ray's is
However-
just on that quality.
However, there's not a single bagel in this state that I've come across. There are great bagels.
Yeah, Herndon Bagel Cafe is really good.
Herndon Bagel Cafe is great.
That's top tier. That's number one
Bodo's
right there.
in Charlottesville.
Yes.
Mr. J's in Harrisonburg all make great bagels.
Yep.
They are still on a different universe than a New York, New Jersey bagel.
100%.
Good bagels.
100%.
Not in the same conversation. Ray's, same conversation as my favorite pizza place at home.
Yep.
Like you could compare those.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
The bagels, no.
No.
That's why they're imported, and they will always be imported.
Which I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Because anytime I go up to that area, the first thing I do is go get a bagel.
Yep.
Have to.
That's what we did at Walsh's wedding. We're like, what are we doing? Going to bagels.
Going to
Yeah.
bagels.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and the bagels we had at Walsh's that weekend we went up there, like the bagel place by Walsh's house is,
it's so good.
one of the best fucking
It's
bagels
so
I've had in New
good.
Jersey.
I haven't had a really good bagel in a long time. and
it's
I need
just,
one.
it's the,
You know
That's
what?
why I'm hoping-
You know what?
that's why
Since
I'm
Walsh doesn't come visit us, we're gonna go visit Walsh just to get bagels. We're gonna show up at his house with a dozen bagels, eat a bagel, and leave.
That's
good.
why I was
I'm down.
kind of hoping we pulled the trigger and go to SEMA last minute and just go to Siegel's.
Yeah, Siegel's is a good bagel outside of New Jersey. That actually might be the best bagel outside of New Jersey.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah,
100%. That place is god tier with their bagels.
that's an expensive bagel though.
That is an expensive
That-
bagel. It'd be a good bagel. You earned the bagel.
You know what? Honestly, we didn't eat breakfast there with you. You and I had like
yeah.
real breakfast. I had that breakfast.
Oh yeah, because I
hash.
went to that class that morning or something.
You want to talk about good, like that's Jersey diner level quality.
You know what? You know what just dawned on me? If somebody wanted us to sum up our podcast, it's us bitching about
Jeep stuff
Jeep.
and raving about food.
and just talking about food. That is our entire podcast is Ultra 4 racing, eating, and bitching.
The 4x Foodies podcast. We still need to do that. Our 4x Foodies event.
yeah.
That'd be a good one to do at base camp with Sean.
4x Foodie cook-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the overland cook-off
You got to bring all your food in, pack it in,
and
pack it
cook
out.
it in your setup,
Yeah.
which would be a little hard for Trevor because his setup is like 87 pieces of furniture.
It all gets packed in. It all gets packed out.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying it doesn't.
It's gotten a lot.
classified.
It's gotten a lot less.
I'm
over
just
the
gonna.
years.
has.
I'm just gonna.
Now it's a table and a Blackstone.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm buying a cast iron because that's part of the best part of my camping cooking is the
I
cast
think
iron is what I found.
If we
That's what the Blackstone is.
yeah, but it's a cast iron is 12 inches opposed to a Blackstone being fucking
Still cast iron.
huge. It's easier to pack in my
Two-door.
the trash bags, the spare tire trash bags. I'm also buying those.
okay.
Those that has changed the way that I pack for going
Yeah.
off road is because it just adds so much storage and you get to get all the nasty stuff out. For when you're cooking on your cast iron, you don't have to put your smelly ass food shit back in your Jeep and you just put it in your bag.
I put it in the bed of my truck
Yeah. See, the
Fair.
problem is
because we own trucks.
Yeah, but the problem with that is when you're out in the national forest, you're in bear country.
You are.
You don't have the shenanigans of the cove keeping wildlife away.
True.
You can't get away with that when you're remote camping.
Tonneau covered.
Bears
Yeah.
have fingies. Get those little
They got them pointy boys.
get those little digits in there. What are those fingers doing, Mr. Bear? Fuck your shit up.
You know what? That just makes me. It just makes me.
That's a
envision
t-shirt.
Us.
Smokey the bear with his what them fingies do.
But it puts an image in my head of us hoisting the Blackstone up into the tree to save it over.
That would be very entertaining.
That'd be great. All right, guys, we're just packing up for the night. Got to keep it away from the bears.
Yeah, that was when I was at last time I went camping was in a parking lot with a bunch of race trailers around me. But that's the way I cooked was my
You say parking lot like it was at Walmart. It was
Yeah,
still,
well, it was
in the middle of the woods at an off-road park.
fair, but it was a parking lot that weekend.
It's not a parking lot, it's a field.
You know,
it was
that's-
on my dad's 50-year-old Coleman.
Yeah.
The Coleman grill that I've used forever.
Yeah.
Or the Coleman stovetop.
Back when
With-
Coleman was made in the U.S.
Yeah.
Built quality shit.
in my cast iron. That's how I cooked all weekend.
Yeah.
It was
That's how
awesome.
we cooked last time we went
Yeah,
out.
it is.
We brought a single cast iron. We cooked it on the fire until it rained, and then we had to
Then
balance.
you yelled at me.
Then we had to balance it on half of a jet boil. It's not even.
Yeah, I'm selling the jet boil. I'm not because I
and
was,
the scuttle. Add the scuttle
yeah.
in that.
Yeah,
Fucking
I was
pointless.
I've been looking at camp cooking, and the best thing that I could find is just that the good old Coleman stovetop.
Yeah.
Just like the 2-3 burner stovetop.
I like the.
My only issue with that is it's just not deep enough for some of the larger pans.
Well, don't use a larger pan. Just use a cast iron.
Yeah, that's
again,
easier said than done when you've
Trevor's
got
used to cooking for 50
70
people.
Yeah.
See, the
Yeah,
next
if you're
one-
by yourself,
yeah.
you get a
The-
little
Yeah, so
get a little 6-inch and you're
Yeah.
good.
yeah, it's fend for yourself or fend for your
Well,
2-3 vehicles and
what I see a lot on the gram
gramming it up.
are the fold flat grills.
Yes.
Yeah.
The little sheet metal ones that just interlock,
See, I feel like
and you can just put coals or some wood in there and build the coals. The thing
the heat warping is what I would be worried about.
Yeah, but-
is over time it just like not coming apart or not going back
we
together.
have the luxury of not experiencing fire bans.
Yeah, it's true.
Like if you're gonna go out west, you need to have something like that because you can't have an open fire.
A lot of the people use propane
Yeah.
fire pits.
Well, and that's those full flat ones. You can get the propane burners that sit in them. So you're basically just bringing a propane grill with you, but it's small.
Yeah.
So you can throw your meat straight on it. You can put a pan on it.
Tell me about your meat.
Yeah, you're just gonna throw your meat straight on the grill.
Season it up.
Did you guys see the boomstick glizzy I sent?
Yes.
On the
No,
gram?
I have not seen the boomstick Lizzie.
One
Yes.
of the Major League Baseball stadiums has like a 3-foot long glizzy that they sell. They call it the boomstick.
That's awesome.
Yep.
It's all the toppings.
We need to go to a baseball game again. We need to try and get kicked out of another baseball game again.
We didn't get kicked out.
We tried to.
We tried our hardest, but
We just ended up entertaining everybody. I don't know how that
we were
happened.
the entertainment.
That game it was a good baseball
It was a good
game.
baseball game. We lost.
Totally overshadowed by our drunk asses, but it was still a good quality baseball game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I like the buy sell segment.
Yeah.
It's kind of some rambling.
Yeah.
Should we keep doing it? Let us know in the comments. Send us a message.
The answer is
tell,
yes.
tell us what you're buying or selling.
Yeah, tell us what you're buying or selling, and we'll talk about it. Send us all your messages.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. Please continue to. In the show notes,
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com. Code for all of our partners and affiliates is Dirt Drive.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. What else do we want? Check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe. We're doing more videos.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
Buy our shit.
Buy our shit. Check us out. Thank you for listening. Hit subscribe. Share with your friends.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys next week.
Wow. Okay.
What?
Or DirtNerdsOffroad.com. Are you enjoying this podcast? Do you want more ridiculousness from the Dirt Nerds? Check out DirtNerdsOffroad.com. It'll link to all of our social media, as well as our YouTube page, and you can pick up some sweet merch to help support the podcast and other adventures.